Understanding the convergence theory. Convergence theory, otherwise known as catch-up effect, suggests that over time, economies tend to converge or become more similar in terms of their levels of economic development. This means that low-income countries have the potential to grow faster than high-income countries initially. So on the graph, we see the low-income countries versus the high-income countries. The low-income countries' slope is much steeper and shows a higher rate of growth, whereas the high-income countries' slope is less steep and more flat. Absolute versus conditional convergence. Absolute convergence implies that all countries converge to the same level of development regardless of initial conditions. So on this graph, we can see that no matter where these countries start, they'll all develop their countries to the steady state, where they'll no longer increase or decrease their GDP and just stay along the steady state. Conditional convergence, on the other hand, considers the influence of factors such as human capital, institutional quality, and technological capabilities on the convergence process. So on this graph, we can see how no matter where they start, they're going to follow along and increase their GDP, but like it says, it considers the influence of factors of human capital, institutional quality, and it basically says that some of these countries may not reach the steady state and may be above or below the steady state. Diminishing returns. As economies grow, they may experience diminishing marginal returns to factors of production, such as capital and labor. This means that the additional output gained from each additional unit of input decreases over time. Initially, low-income countries may experience higher returns from additional investments, but as they accumulate more capital and labor, the marginal productivity of these factors diminishes. On the graph, we can see that low-income countries, when they start their growth, each additional unit of output incorporates a large marginal return. But the more that they increase output, the less marginal return they get. Fiscal policy and growth. Fiscal policy, which involves government spending and taxation, plays a crucial role in promoting growth and convergence. Governments can use fiscal policy to invest in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, which can boost productivity and stimulate economic growth, particularly in less developed areas. So on this bar chart right here, we can see the federal and state and local spendings on highway, transit and railways, aviation, water transportation, water resources, water utilities. This shows how the government invested in the infrastructure, which can help boost our economy. And on the left is a comic. The congressman chasing a taxpayer, running for his life with his money in his hand, and the congressman is trying to tell him that he can spend his money better than him. In conclusion, economies tend to converge over time, with low-income countries initially growing faster than high-income countries. Diminishing marginal returns of factors of production can influence the pace of convergence as economies grow. Fiscal policy, through strategic investments in infrastructure and human capital, play a vital role in promoting growth and narrowing income disparities. Understanding convergence theory helps policymakers devise effective strategies to raise sustainable economic development and reduce inequalities between nations or regions.